Hello, everybody. I hope you're having a good day and you're all well. Now, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Mrs. Hurstman and I teach in Elm class in year 3-4. And today I'm here to talk to you about walking to school. So, could I have Collective Worship Council open our assembly? Fantastic. Thank you very much for that. Now, as I mentioned, we are going to be thinking about walking to school. So I wonder, how did you travel to school this morning? Did you walk? Did you come in the car? Perhaps you came on your scooter or your bike, or maybe you came on the bus. So the reason we're talking about walking to school at the moment is because October is International Walk to School Month. So this isn't just happening at Rackham. It's not just happening in Cambridgeshire. It's happening all over in many, many different places as it's an international event. And also, we not only think about walking to school in October, we also think about it in May when we have a walk to school week. Okay, so there's two different important points in the year. And you can see our little orange character here. And he is the Living Streets mascot. So Living Streets are the organisation who are promoting and organising events linked to International Walk to School Week. Now, if you go on their website, they have got some competitions running as well. So you might be interested in having a little look at those. So if we think about walking to school, and why is it important to walk to school? Okay, perhaps you'd like to pause the video and have a talk with your class about why it is important to walk to school. What ideas might you come up with? Or you could have a little think to yourself, and I'll give you a moment for that. Okay. So I wonder what you came up with. Which ideas did you come up with? Why is it important to be able to walk to school, or to walk to school or scoot or cycle? They're equally as important too. I wonder if you mentioned your health. I wonder if you've mentioned your keeping your minds healthy too. Or maybe you've thought about the environment. Okay, and we're going to be covering those in more detail in a little bit. So walking is good exercise, okay? Walking really, really helps your heart. Okay, so walking equals a healthier heart and a brain boost. So it wakes up your brain and it's ready to learn if you're in school. And exercise is really important to keep us healthy. And it's really good not only for our hearts, it's good for our bones and our lungs and our muscles too. So did you know we should do about 60 minutes, that's an hour, of physical activity every day to make sure we can stay as healthy as we can be? So if I'm thinking about how long it takes you to walk to school, how long do you think it takes to walk 1 mile? Okay, 1 mile. How long? I'm going to give you some options. Do you think it would take you 5 minutes, 15 minutes, or 45 minutes? How long? Have a little think, and I shall reveal the answer. So, in actual fact, it takes 15 to 20 minutes to walk 1 mile. Okay, so if you think about that, that's already about a quarter of your daily exercise just by walking 1 mile. And it's really good, as I say, to get your heart going and wake your brain up so it's ready to get going and ready for that lovely learning. Now, if we think about keeping our bodies healthy, we can also think about keeping our minds healthy. So it's not a very secret formula. Walking to school would help. So us all be happier and having some fresh air and noticing all the lovely things on the way to school as well. So walking to school can help you, as I say, keep your bodies healthy and keep our minds healthy too. Now, there's another reason why we promote walking to school, and that's for the health of the planet, for the environment. So it says kick pollution to the curb, combat CO2 and reduce road congestion. So we're thinking here about the gases that are released into the air that we are then breathing in. And also the amount of traffic, the amount of cars and vans and things on the roads. So if people were able to walk to school a little bit more often, it would help to reduce the amount of polluting gases and reduce the number of cars on the roads. So I think, could you walk perhaps an extra couple of days a week? Would that help to reduce the number of cars on the road? Because did you know that 20% of rush hour traffic is the school run? So the school run, that's the drop-offs and the pickups at the end of the day, which are just thinking about school times. So 20% of that traffic is out there on the roads at those particular times is to do with school and having to drop children off and pick them up. So if people could walk a little bit more often, it would help reduce the number of cars that are on the road, therefore the amount of pollution that's being put into the air. Okay, now I'm going to show you a little video festival of 2 children who have been doing some research into how the walking habits of children in their school, and they also do some exciting research about the CO2 levels in their area. So I'm going to show you this video. So here we are. I hope you can see that. Okay, so we have one of our first children who's just arrived at school.
Hi, Evie. How did you get to school today? I just walked. I went in the car. It would be nice to walk, though. Well, I think most people drive to school because they might live far away. I think we should go and ask our friends how they get to school. Yeah, come on. We're doing a survey about walking to school. Could we ask you a few questions? Yeah. How do you travel to school? Well, I usually walk. I get the car to school. I walk to school. I get the bus to school. By car? How do you travel to school? I cycle. I take the car. I walk because I live quite near. How do you travel to school? I walk to school. So looking at our survey, 40% of us walk to school. The national average is 46%, so we've still got a bit to go. From talking to our friends, we know we sometimes need to use cars. But I wonder what impact it makes on the roads around our school.
Hello.
Hello. Are RAs going to help us measure the pollution on the roads around school?
What we can do is we can use this machine. The machine sucks in pollution and dust particles from the air and gives you a figure. And the higher the figure, the more pollution are in the air.
School's just about to start and it's busy outside. I wonder what Ari's machine will tell us about the pollution levels.
See, they're quite high, which means there's a lot of traffic and a lot of pollution here. The car exhaust produces some of the particles, which you can't see.
This is higher than the average figure of 40 that we would expect over the year. This is because there is much more traffic at busy times like rush hour. Let's find out what the levels are like a bit further from the school gates. It's 91. 30.
This bus was going, we didn't see a lot of smoke, but it's really small particles, so you breathe it in, but you don't see it. Although they produce a lot of pollution, it's better to have 60 people on a bus rather than having 60 cars on the road.
3 hours later, we're back to see if the levels have changed. So it's in its 20s. I can see there's lots less traffic. Let's take a look down the road where we got the high reading before.
So how are the measurements different now?
Well, they're much lower.
So it seems like there's less particles and less pollution.
So we need to reduce the number of cars on the roads around school. Let's speak.
Okay, so we're going to stop there. So the girls have done a little bit of research about the pollution levels in their area. And then they're going to go and talk to one of their teachers about what they could do next. And some of the solutions might be about promoting walking to school and maybe cycling or scooting that you may have noticed as well was on their survey. So it could be quite interesting if you have a moment to do a quick survey in your classes about how you've all travelled to school. Now, I do know that some of you are probably thinking, I live a little bit further away and walking to school might be really tricky for me. So there's some different things that you can try instead. And one of those things is park and stride. So you could park further away from the school and then walk the last bit. Okay, and that would mean that you've travelled less in your car and done some more walking. So maybe you could ask your adult if that would be something you could do. You could also think about, if promoting to the adults at home, if they travel by bus, for example, maybe they get off at the stop before and then they'd be able to walk a little bit further as well. So if you do have to come to school by car, for example, there are a couple of things that you can do. As I say, perhaps parking further away and walking in, perhaps parking further away and arranging to walk in with a friend and their parents, with your parents too. So you could do that too. Okay, so perhaps you could have a little think, if you do live further away, how could I get some more walking in during the mornings and the afternoons? Okay, so there we go, problem solved. So they suggested that you could get off the bus or out of your lift, your car, early and walk the rest of the way. Okay, well, I hope that's given you some things to think about, and I look forward to hearing about how you've all travelled to school. So if you'd like to join in our prayer, put your hands together. So, dear God, we thank you for the world we walk through, the clean, fresh air and the sky above our heads. Help us to take time to notice our world and to take good care of it. Amen. Okay, and Collective Worship Council, would you like to close our assembly? Thank you very much. Okay, well, I hope you all have a good rest of the afternoon, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.